Good morning, our value viewers. Straight into last week's sales. If you haven't noticed, I'm in the front room because it is so bloody hot in the garage. It's one of those overcast, but it's still in the 80s days in the middle of August. I've got the fan on in the background if you can hear it. I will have the noise reduction on, but you might still hear a bit of a drone in the background. Don't worry about it. First sale of the week last week, $7.99 for an ink, plus delivery $12.19. Cost me 50p or a pound at Carboot. Next thing of the week was a Now TV box. Now TV, complete with remote and HDMI cable. Actually, everything you wanted, except for the outer case. The actual box was there. It was all really good condition. It had been used, but it had been looked after. £19.95 plus postage, $24.15. Then there was a DVD player. I said to you a couple of weeks ago when I picked this up for a pound, I think it might have been £2, that I didn't think it would go for much, £10 plus delivery. Anyway, it went for £14 plus delivery. I was surprised. Next was Willow Tree sculpted figurine, £7.25 plus postage, £11.45. 4 Nintendo games, Game Boy Advance games together, £21.64 delivered, minus the discount. So it was actually £17.31. I'm happy to give discount because I saved about £4.50 in postage. Ideal way of promoting your items. This next one was a genuine Brother P-Touch M-Tape 9mm by 8mm labelling tape. For, I think I paid £1 for it. It's sold for £6.60 delivered. You really need to be picking those up for 50p each. The Chinese ones are about £3.50 delivered from China. You might have to buy a multiple to get that price. Next was a kids craft pack that I've been selling since October 22. I bought a bundle of 10p items from the supermarket. It was just craft clearance gear, pipe cleaners, stickers, craft cards, pens, lollipop label, the lollipop sticks in different colours, some glue, some glitter, that sort of thing. £5 delivered. Yeah, it's clearance. I've got a couple of left and I'm happy to sell them off at clearance price. I made me money when they were brand new back in 22. Next was some antique horse brushes. I bought them maybe 2 months ago, maybe longer, in the spring, and they had leather straps with 40 horse brushes. It says 40 there. It was 6 straps with different horse brushes on. They're all like different commemorative ones. Some of them were pretty generic. Some of them were like commemorative of ships and queens and kings and things like that. £45 and 1 pence. They'd sent that as an offer. I had it offered up at 55. I'd sent offers at 50 but left the offers open. Most of the time, if I'm sending 10-15% off, I'm not going to leave it open. But on this particular occasion, I knew how much they'd cost me. They'd cost me 20 quid, down from 25 she wanted, and I had a margin. So I left it open at 50 and she came back with a £45 offer, £45 1 pence, because delivery was £9.99. So £55 delivered. Yeah, great. Bubble wrapped them so they didn't rattle too much, put them in a nice strong box and away they went. I've had feedback from that, good feedback. I'll tell you what she said, in fact. It's right near the top because she's only just sent it. Super selection of beautiful horse brushes, very good price, delivered in the blink of an eye, excellent seller, highly recommended, thank you. It's like printing money. Having feedback like that, people see that feedback, they know you take care of your customers. Back to my orders. So next was some ink, the Fox inks from a couple of months back. I bought a bag, she put them all in a bag, 10 Fox inks. Some of them were a multi-pack. One of them was a multi-pack with 4 sets in it, and I sold that immediately, virtually. One of them was the same multi-pack but in separate packs. So it had the black and the 3 colours, and I sold those soon after, but not immediately. And for less, even though they were exactly the same, they did have different sell-by dates, expiry dates. And then there was this is the last 3 out of the pack of 10, sorry, pack of 8 that I paid £8 for. Anyway, this went for 10 for 3 plus delivery, £14.15, which is the cheapest out of them, but got rid of it. Put a line under the deal, and yeah, I made good money on the others as well. So no big deal. Here's one from, I bought a load of PS1 games a couple of weeks back with the 3 PS1s that I assumed didn't work. Well, I was right, or at least I was partially right. This one was a non-worker. Give it a clean anyway, because I knew that in order to take nice photographs, even as a non-worker, it wants to be cleaned. So I cleaned it, tested it, the video came up, but it wouldn't read discs. It needs a new laser assembly. It's a laser and the motor for the CD reader. That's what you need. The whole assembly comes in one part. And it was working apart from that. I think there may have been an issue with the controller connector. One of the controls that I know is working wouldn't move it up and down. But I sold it with all faults, saying that the video works. I haven't really gone in depth on anything else. So $12.95 plus postage, $17.15. And they've sent me good feedback as well. Next, there was a camera, the Zenit TTL camera, with a Helios 44M lens, which is a particularly nice lens, actually. The 44-2 and the 44-4 are a little bit better, but the 44M, the Helios, have a particular way of dealing with out-of-focus bokeh. They call it bokeh. B-O-K-E-H, which means that you get a different effect from, say, lighting in the background. It's sort of different shape to the actual lighting in the background because of this lens. And so it's very popular even with modern cameras to put a lens like this on a modern camera, a digital camera. Anyway, the camera itself on its own was a good camera, the TTL. I didn't test the through the lens metering because I didn't have a battery for it. It was empty of battery. But I did test the wind on, wind back, flash, sorry, not flash, timer. They all worked. So anyway, I got 30 quid for it, plus postage, $36.95. Then there was a game, another game off that multi-listing for Game Boy Advance games that I sold. Game Boy Advance Baby Bratz. Bratz Babies, with Zs. And that went for $2.99. Which is, yeah, fine. Delivered. As I say, don't owe me anything. I've already had £30 odd back on that bundle that cost me. Well, if you take off the Game Boy games that I bought with them for £25 and I've sold already and made about 20, they owed me about £5 and I've made £30 odd back. Plus that, so not too bad. Not too shabby. They'd been in a box for over a year. Portal 2 for the game. Good game. This was a PC Mac conversion game. Actually, might have been released on the PC and Mac before it was on the PS2 and Xbox. Anyway, I went for $6.95. Delivered. Genuine Sky Q SP171 power supply. £23.99 delivered. You know, I tested the voltages on the little pins and it was all fine. Sent it out. Nice. Ubisoft Rocksmith cable. This is the cable I bought for 50p last week. Three cables for £1.50. That's gone $14.99, exactly what I thought it would be. What everybody else was selling them for, what they sold for, very fast. I was happy to take it in a couple of days from when it's sold. Let me see, it was listed on the 7th, sold on the 11th. Minions Fart Gun, another one. If you see them for 50p or a pound, just scoop them up. They sell for £10 all day long, every day. Minions Fart Gun, Blaster, Megaphone, Despicable Me. Lights up and sounds, Thinkwave toys. This one I showed you, I think the same day, a couple of weeks back, maybe even last week, I don't know. Vintage Red Sanyo portable stereo cassette player with a really big door to take a really big cassette, none of these tiny little things. Sanyo Walkman basically. I was hoping to get it working, but quite honestly, when I looked into it, the amount of work involved in putting new belts on it meant unsoldering certain sections, lifting them out of the box, and then putting belts in and then resoldering it. And it was like too much effort. So I sold it sold it spares and repairs for somebody else to do it. Yeah, I put batteries in it, wouldn't turn on. I'm assuming the belts have already gone as well. £10, it cost 2. I'm happy to take 10. Plus postage, £14.20. This one cost 2 at the same Carboot. Got me a lot more, but yeah, it was a bit more work, especially including testing and things. This is the Microsoft Sidewinder PC Precision Racing Wheel and pedals. It was USB though, it wasn't the old DIN plug type thing. It was proper and actually just plugged straight into my laptop, this one. And I tested it. It worked fine. Every pedal, every twist of the wheel, the pedals, the paddles, the buttons on the wheel, they all came up with little red lights in the testing bit. You can do that in the control panel of the computer. $21.99 plus postage, $28.94. Took some nice photographs. It's a very big box, that's why it's like $6.95 postage. It wasn't very heavy, but it was a big box. Next is a power supply for an ASUS laptop. Bought this a few weeks back for 50p or a pound. It went for £20.23 plus postage. Sorry, £20.23 including postage. BT item code 066773, another power supply. Seems to be selling a lot of power supplies at the moment. $13.99 delivered. That's for a phone. Because I won't pay more than a couple of quid for a phone system per handset, always make money on those power supplies, even if I don't sell the handsets. Next, Resident Evil Raccoon City disc only. Operation Raccoon City for the Xbox 360, $6.99. Been a big resurgence online for Resident Evil stuff, especially driven by YouTube. You go and look up Resident Evil on YouTube. There's hundreds of channels that specialise in it. $12.99 for a Patterson Universal Developing Tank for putting the films from film cameras into chemicals to develop in the dark. They're made of black plastic. You can see the picture. You basically ratchet the film from the little canister you've got onto the little white spiral spool there, and then in the dark you can do that. Put it in one of these containers. You can then turn the lights on, pour chemicals in. Yeah, you can pour chemicals in with the lights on, and it holds everything else in the dark. And then you swirl it around, wait for the chemicals to do their thing, which they do. Pour the chemicals out. The film then is developed, and you can undo the things, and it's all in the light now. It's developed. Anyway, $12.99 plus postage, £17.19. That cost me a pound. Just picked it up at the Carboot, said to him, how much is it? And he said a pound. And I'd already sold one in a box that was vintage. This isn't so much vintage as current, really. It's ideal for anybody who wants to do their own film developing, either in black and white or colour, with 120mm film or 35mm film. Ideal for lomographic people. Yeah. Next, we're coming on. Actually, saying that, I've shown you pictures. I've actually got it here because it's going out today. There you go. I'll show you. So they've got your rubber cover that holds the fluids in. Then you've got a funnel for the chemicals, and when that's screwed in, it's light tight, so light can't get in. It actually screws in that way like that. So fluids can go in there through the funnel, mix with the thing in the bottom, and then you can pour it out the side, all the way around the outside of the funnel. And if you have to stir film that's in the bottle, there's a little stirrer rod, so you can stir it around and get the chemicals nicely coated onto the film. Now, when you take that out, in the bottom there's the spiral, which you put your film in. It's basically got all the bits it needs. A lot of them that are on sale don't have the stirrer. Some of them don't even have that. That's just to keep the fumes from upsetting your loved ones while you're doing it in the spare bedroom. I know all about that, because that's what we used to do as a kid. Next was these, as they're 1 and 2 and 3. Laura Ashley Cornish Stripe Blush Wallpaper. There you go, Laura Ashley Home Wallpaper. Cornish Stripe Blush. 3 rolls. Got what wanted. which is nice. It cost me £6 and I got £43.96 plus postage, £50.91. So they'll get wrapped in bubble wrap, a cardboard cap on each end, and then wrap the whole thing in cardboard as well, and then put in a black bag. And get posted out today. 3.5 kilos long parcel. It says LP here, large parcel, because it's too long for a medium parcel. Never mind. That's fine. In fact, it might go medium parcel. I'm sure the long is. Yeah. The long length on medium parcel is 60. These are 57 without any packaging on the end. So I've assumed it would go over the 60. And I'm happy to do that. I've charged for it, so no big deal. And then the last thing going out this week, or rather going out today from last week, is a Roberts radio. Sorry, it's not a Roberts, it's a Sony, this one. A Sony radio with a figure 8 cable. It does take batteries, 4 AA's, but I'm not selling those, I'm not sending those. It's a nice enough radio, it's got some marks on. You might not see it from there, but you'd see it in the picture. I put a picture up, you can see the marks. I photographed the marks to make sure people could see them before selling it. And then they know what they're buying and they can't be upset about it. And that was £9.68 plus postage, £13.88. Not as much as I'd hoped, but it's not the Roberts, it's the Sony, and I didn't pay a lot for it. I think it was £2, it might have been £3, I'm not sure. Because those marks, I may have discounted when I offered. I'm not sure, I may have paid £3. Let me have a look. It's a couple of weeks ago. It's great having this book in front of you. Sony. It's definitely been listed. RCF 704L really. I paid £3 for it. There you go. Okay. It's not a huge margin, but it's okay. Anyway, that figure is the end thingy of the week. So it's 24 items, a little bit lower than I'd want it to be. My ideal would be 30, but I would happily take 40. I won't go into what's sold already this week because I'm trying to get to the point where I'm only showing you 1 week's worth. And there's no confusion. And then the next week, you come back to see everything that's sold next week. So yeah, £468.43. Not bad for the middle of summer. So making the effort to put more gear on, but make sure it's a decent gear, basically. So, what did I pick up? Well, I can go straight into it. But for old time's sake, here's a few seconds of SpongeBob.
Moments later.
There you go. Did you see that? I'll do it again.
More moments later.
Right. I hope you're enjoying the video, by the way. If you are, and no, I don't normally ask until the end of the video, but when we're halfway through, it's time to ask for something, a bit of a favour from you. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's like a bookmark, really, for you. And if you hit the notification bell once you're subscribed, it'll show you everything I do, and you can decide whether to watch it or not. The YouTube algorithm is a means to an end. Advertising done. What did I buy this week? I'll tell you. Get my book out. Quick rundown. It was hot, but it wasn't as good as it is now. It's very hot now. So first thing I bought at North Cave, I went to North Cave and Hull, was these 5 PS3 games. You're surely not buying PS3 games, Peter. Yes, I am. But I didn't buy a big chunk of them. Normally, when I get to a stall, I like to buy the whole lot at a reasonable price. And I said to the guy, how much are these games? He's like £3 each. And I'm like, oh dear. Oh dear. Because most of it's bundle fodder. It always is mostly bundle fodder. But people don't really understand the differences in prices. Unless they're up on it, they think they're all worth loads of money or they're all worth nothing. No, that isn't the case. So anyway, what did I get? I said to him, would you do a deal if I bought a few, like a bit of discount? And he says, yeah. So I said, well, would you, what's the lowest for the whole lot like? And he's like, no, I want to sell them individually. And I thought, fair enough. So anyway, I picked the ones I wanted out and I held them up and he's like, £12. There's 5 there. £2 each made a tenner. And he agreed to that. So what did I get? I got Clive Barker's Jericho. It's not a bad game. We'll look them up for live sold prices. They do vary in price. Oh, that's a bit loud. I'll turn the sound on. So $9.99, $11.24, $12.34 is what people are asking. Complete and sold. And normally I also select buy now and padlock that, because some people put them in at silly prices on auctions and it drags the price down for everyone. So anyway, $9.99 plus postage, $4.75. Anyway, somebody's put one in at silly price. $6.59 plus postage, $8.55 plus postage, £10 plus postage. So yeah, £8 to £10 plus postage. DMC. That's Devil May Cry, not the PS2 version, the PS3 in HD, updated version really. It's got a bit of a different storyline as well. They're at £5.25, £5.99, £5.99, £6. So that one's not worth quite as much. I thought it was worth more than that actually. This one, Hot Import Nice, Juiced 2, that's $7.50 plus postage, $7.99, free post, $8.50 free post, £10 free post. I'd probably go with the £10 free post. Heroes Over Europe, which is another sequel for a PS2 game, Heroes of the Pacific. Heroes of the Pacific, I believe it was called. $9.95, $24.95, though that was brand new. $9.98, £10.31, free post. Not a bad price. XCOM, Enemy Within. £9.50 plus postage, £12, $11.59, $44.99 brand new. These are all in really good nick with manuals, which is good. So that was my first purchase, £10 for 5 games. A little bit more than I want to pay for them, but they're all good games and they should all sell with a reasonable amount of time on individual listings, which are worth doing on those. Next there was this item here. Yes, it's a flick out Darth Vader lightsaber. A very old one, 1996. I asked how much it was. This little lad piped up and said it was £3, and his mother said no, it's £1. So I paid the £1. I think she just wanted rid of it. Can you imagine? All day long, every day. That'll sell for, I don't know, £8 or £10 plus postage, maybe more. I think the last one I got was like $16.99, but that was the Kylo Ren one with the side pieces. Right after that was a DVD player. First time in weeks I got a DVD player. I think the last one I got was that really battered old Philips one. But it sold for £14. I was surprised at that money. I was expecting maybe 8 or 9. It only had a SCART cable on the back. It wasn't HDMI, which is most TVs these days. Anyway, I got another Philips one. This is old. It's another one that's 05 on the back, and it's got one of these, push the lid down to open it and it springs out like an old PlayStation from the 2000s, and it's got a controller and a button, and that's it. That's all there is on this. HDMI output, very small, basically just plays a DVD, that's it. I'm not sure really how much they're worth, but it cost me £1, so I wasn't grumbling. And as I say, I haven't been able to find any other DVDs for ages. Then the next thing I got was this. It's like aluminium with a USB cable and a slot at the front. So I thought it was a peripheral for a computer, a USB cable, but it's an Apple one. It's for a Mac. It's a Mac, Apple Mac Super Drive they call them. Basically, it's an optical drive. As far as I know, it also writes to them, but I'm not absolutely certain on that. It's an A1270, and from what I can tell from the Apple website, I did go and look at the Apple forums on the website about how to use them, and it's uncertain which models these work natively with. But I'll plug it into mine and see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll sell it as untested. It costs £7, and they're going for like £25. I'm happy with that, but for £7, I really wanted only to pay £5, but he was like, oh, it's for charity. I'm like looking around his store for his charity sign, and I'm like, I don't see a sign for the charity. I would have paid £7 anyway. It started at £10 actually. Then there's a camera, because I like the cameras. There we go. I went indoors, stalls, and had a look around there, and There was a store with like several cameras on. But I said to her, how much is this camera? And she said, I don't know. My husband's over there somewhere. Anyway, he came back and he said £2. And I said, yeah, fine. Now it had a battery in, but it was flat. I put my own brand new CR123A battery in. I say brand new, it's out of date and I've got it in a box with something else, you know. But I did have to open the box in order to put that in. So it's brand new. And it has power, lots of power. Power for the date back, it's got a date back. These only unfortunately go up to 2019 or 17, one or the other, I can't remember. Because of some sort of oversight before the 2K or the Y2K thing, things like this didn't have an ongoing date feature. They only go up to 2019 or something. I don't know why, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, apart from that, it's all working fine, including if I turn it on, it opens up, it flashes, show you, it working. Yeah, and it winds back and everything, I've done that. When you've taken a shot, it winds on. When you press the little button at the bottom, it winds back. They're going for about 95 quid, but with the date back, it might be another 10, maybe 15, who knows. I'm going to go for 100 and see what happens. That'll be probably delivered. Next was another camera, but it's a different type. It's a camcorder. Panasonic. It does actually open up as well. I've turned it on. It came with a charger, and she says to me, I haven't got the cable, so I haven't charged it. I'm like, figure eight. It's a new figure eight. You take the battery off this and you put it in there, and you plug it in. I think she thought that you had to plug it into there and then cable it into the camera. You don't. You take the battery off the back, you put it into the slot on the charger. Anyway, she said, how about a fiver? And I'm like, yeah, okay. With it not working, it's worth loads more than a fiver, especially with the battery. Anyway, with it working, and the screen on, and the lens cap off, obviously, you can see what's going on. It's all working fine. You can see that, can you? Can you see it's going on? There you go. I'm going to point it at you. Yeah, point it at the fan. Yeah. And there's a little eyepiece that's working fine. It's got a memory card, but it's an 8 megabyte memory card. Yeah, 8 megabyte. Plus, if I press the button, there's an open eject thing. You open it there, and it opens, its innards up, and you can put a mini DV tape in there. Well, I do have somewhere, because I kept one specially, a mini DV tape for when this needs doing. If you press the button on the side, it closes again, and then you can close that there. It has a very sticky top. It's that type of, do you remember the soft touch plastics, rubber type plastics that start decomposing on the surface, and it's that surface up there is rubberized for soft touch. Yeah, your fingers are meant to sit on it all day long, so that your thumb does the filming and your fingers are just sitting there waiting for their time. And then your first finger is wide angle telephoto, which is great, don't get me wrong, but this is all sticky now because of that degrading plastic. If you wipe it away, you're wiping not just the surface of the plastic, but at least a millimetre of it away, and then there's no print on it. So what I'll do is I'll give it a very cursory wipe and leave it at that, and mention it's that type of plastic in the listing. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do one of those low effort listings where I put working. Yeah, tested and working with battery and charger, and leave it at that. I will put the battery the tape in it and test that it records onto the tape first. It does record onto the memory card, but it only records in low resolution because the memory card is an 8 megabyte memory card. Yeah, 8 megabyte SD card. I didn't know they made them that small. Anyway, those two together cost me a fiver and could be 50 quid, maybe 60. And that was everything at North Cave for a subtotal of £26. Not bad at all. Right, first thing I got was this price labelling gun, Swift Price Labeler M22. M822. It's just a label gun. And I've got one of these, except it's got the metal frame. This is the plastic frame version of the same thing. But it's got a whole roll of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 rolls of labels. And then it's got another spare roll of label. And the gun itself, this is the plastic version, as I said. The old one I've got is metal here, but the handles are still plastic. But that's not what I want it for, really. I used my old one when I was using Carboots. Price things I didn't want to be constantly telling people the price of that nice and cheap, and I wouldn't see it like 50p and pound items. But when I'm doing video games, I want to number the games so that I can come back to them when I'm doing multi-listing. They all have to have numbers. Well, I've just run these off from that. That's 1 to 100, but it goes up to 1 million if you're just using numbers and not prices. So yeah, that's 1 to 100, and basically they will stick on the spine of a video game. Clive Barker's Jericho is number 1 now, so it will just stick on the spine like that. And yes, I know I'm copying off other people who use big numbers on the back of this games. I've always used cloakroom labels on the back stuck on with tape. Well, these are actually self-adhesive, obviously, but also they're easy to read because they're thin enough to go right along the spine like that. You can see that there. And when they're face down, spine up in a box, you can read them. Because it's self-adhesive and the adhesive's pretty good, they stay on, but they'll come off without any marks. And they don't have to have tape all over them. They come off fairly easy. So that'll be next to my listing table. Equipment. Then I got Rubik's Cube for £1. It's a bit much, really. I'd like to pay 50p for them. Last one I paid 50p for. Sold for £5 or £6 plus postage, like nearly a tenner. And a video game. Avengers. Marvel Avengers PS4, £2, should sell through 8 or 9. It's not a bad game actually. $8.39, $13.95, $8.92. Oh, $13.95 was brand new. Fair enough. So $8.95 second hand, that's fine. A Scotch labeler EA350. Now the picture shows the labeler, and it's like horizontal shape, not gun shaped. A lot of them have a handle here and then the guns, the twisty bits on the top. This is an embossing labeler, but it's not what it shows there. I'll take it out and I'll show you. It is the same model, but it doesn't have the same set of letters. It's Braille, so you can read it if you're blind. There's a starting position, there you go. And you can run your finger around and read the letter you want, and emboss, and it comes out the middle. Interesting. In Braille, for people who are blind. I don't know whether it make any difference in the price, but I'm happy to list it and find out. They've been going for anywhere up to £20, these things. Anyway, that was 50p. I got these games, or rather CDs. The guy said to me there were 3 for £1, and so I couldn't find more of these fat box cases. These are what I wanted. 3 for £1 definitely. And I paid 50p on another stall for this one. So why have I bought CDs of Northern Soul Anthems? Well, there's one there. There's one there. And then if you close the front, there's another 2. 4 CDs, and I think I showed you one last week with 2 or 3 in. The case itself is worth money to PlayStation 1 collectors because a lot of PlayStation 1 games, specifically PlayStation 1, came on CD, and the larger games, the more expensive, complicated games like the Final Fantasy games, I've got Fear Effect 1 and 2, some of the larger RPG games, needed multiple CDs in the 2s, 3s and 4s. Some of them came with 2 CDs and a demo disc in the front, which was advertising upcoming games. So, multiple connectors. So they came in these fat boxes. The front and the back is the back of a normal CD case. You can get hold of them anywhere. Now this has also got all the pins to hold 2 more CDs in the middle. It's the holy grail of fat box CD cases, if you see what I mean. The PlayStation 1s. These are worth money just on their own to sell to PlayStation 1 collectors. Make 3 complete fat box PS1 game cases. £1.50, that's probably 20 quid's worth. Olympus boxed C220 zoom. Not all there is in here, but there is a C220 zoom in here. There we go. I've got a few of these and most of them don't work. You open it like that. Well, the battery compartment here is a bit skanky. It's a bit brown and green. So I've got a feeling it would need a very good clean before it works, if it works ever. But what it does have is a smart card in the side of it, which is, you know, I like selling the memory cards. They're an easy sell and they go in the mail as a letter. So that's a 128 MB, which is the largest size, 128 megabyte, the largest size smart media cards coming. And it's a SanDisk. So that's that. And another camera. This is a FinePix E510 with a flash. There you go. The compartment looks okay on this, but again, it doesn't matter if it works or not because it's got memory cards. This one's a Fujifilm XD 16 megabytes. That's probably 12 quid's worth. Might even be $12.99 delivered. And then the last one is a Pentax. I wouldn't normally buy a Pentax along with this lot, but I didn't say this. You can see the front of this lens is damaged, so it's not going to be worth much at all, even if it works. This one, if it works, is worth something. It's 7.1 megapixels, a bit battered, a bit scratched up, but I haven't tested it. I will test it. Normal SD card, missing, but it does have a battery. It has an Li63 battery for Pentax, which is the same as an NP45 battery for Olympus, which are worth about 9 or 10 quid. Well, because it's Pentax one, it's probably only worth 8 or 9. Delivered, it's worth £5 to me. Anyway, I paid 12 for the lot of them, including the box. It also includes all the C220, bump and CD. I bought these off a dealer, I know. He knows that I know all about cameras. So he had them all on the side, and he's like, oh, I've a digger through them. By the time I've dug through them, he's the type, and I don't like doing it, but you have to. I'm willing to pay a little bit more, and he knows I'm only buying them if I'm making a profit. So he was pushing for as much money as possible. I had to pay 12. Normally, I would pay £1 or £2 for each of these cameras with those memory cards in. So maybe I'd have paid 5. I tried to push for a tenner for the lot, but he wouldn't come down to that. So I had to pay the 12. Another person would come along who didn't know about cameras and who said, oh, how much are these? He'd probably say £2 each. But that wasn't the case in this case. He's a dealer, he knows what he's doing, he knows I was willing to pay for him. Bought loads of stuff off him in the past and always made money. Not made as much as it would have done if I'd bought them off. Person just selling their crap off, like I said. A householder who just wants to get rid of the stuff. The difference is a difference at the end of the day in your pocket. Buy from householders, just clearing their loft, garage, elderly relatives' house out. People downsizing, they're the best. They've got a time limit and they want rid of it all. That's me lot. What did I spend? In whole, 20 quid. So a total £46 for the day. I'm going to say goodbye. Enjoy your week. Speak to you anon. Don't forget, one of those buttons down below, any one of them is fine. Engage or encourage. If you want to say something, there's a comment section as well. I'm happy to have any comments you like as long as you're not swearing.